What is nostalgic to you? Is it the 90s era? Maybe it's the 2010s. Maybe it's the early 2000s. Whatever it is that you feel nostalgic to, I promise you that in this era right now that we are currently in, it's gonna be brought back. Currently, right now, we are in the nostalgia era. Now, if you don't know what I mean by this, I'm gonna dive straight into this. What is going on, everybody? It is your boy Guap Jugs here, aka Jug, aka MJ if you want to be personal. And today, we're here to talk about the nostalgia era. And what do I mean by this? Now, we're gonna break it down into two parts: how I feel and what the definition actually is. So first, I'm gonna read out the definition. A sentimental longing or wistful affection for the past, typically for a period or place with happy personal association. Now, what does that exactly mean? Well, I'm gonna break down what that means to me. I was born in 2004. Now, this was an era of, I was a baby, so I don't really know much about this era. So, really, I have nostalgia for the 2010s era. Feel me? The era of silly bands, the era of great games, PS2, PS3, Xbox 360. Man, 2010s was a great decade, man. And, depending on who you are and, when you was born, you might have a different perspective on, nostalgia. But right now, we are in a nostalgia era, and these companies are pulling out the nostalgia card more than they ever have. Now, what do I mean by that? I'm gonna give y'all a couple of examples. Recently, I don't know if you guys watched this show, but the new version of Fairly Odd Parents, not gonna lie, I've done no research on the show, but from the clips and of what everything I've seen, it definitely tugs on the nostalgia feeling. I'm not gonna say that its entirety and its whole show is based on that feeling, but as many of you may know, the Fairly Odd Parents, something that I grew up with, that's my era, it basically went to shit. And we all know that by the end of the seasons, the show was practically dead. I mean, everything from the animations to the jokes, it just wasn't hitting the same. And now in the year 2024, as I'm making this video, it is August 7th, we are presented with a new show that has a similar concept, but from what I've seen, it's a bit more expansive. Definitely has nostalgia ties though, and I feel like that's what populated the show, like what made it popular. Not what necessarily made it good, but definitely what gave it exposure. Because more than anything, I see clips of nostalgia. I don't see like clips of the show on its own with its own original characters. More often than not, I'm seeing clips that include characters like Cosmo and Wanda, Mr. Crocker, AJ, and other characters along that line. And you might be thinking like, that's one piece of media. Okay, let's talk about games now. As we all know, the month of October, it's peaking with gaming. I'm not gonna lie. With games such as Sparking Zero, Black Ops 6, Sonic and Shadow Generations, all coming out this month. Now, one thing you guys might notice is a lot of these games, they're, besides Black Ops, specifically Sparking Zero and Sonic Generations, these two games weren't necessarily, popular, like, in this time right now. Like, they weren't talked about, like, the last Budokai Tenkaichi 3 game. Great game, phenomenal, definitely recommend playing it, but it's not talked about a lot, and people definitely wanted a continuation. And from playing the game firsthand experience, because I just recently played it not too long ago, I definitely can concur that the game is great and I would love to have another sequel. Feel me? Well, not a sequel, but you get what I mean. Feel me? I would love to have another game. And so with that, Sonic Generations was dead in the water. Like, that game hasn't been touched in God knows how long. So for them to come out with this is very unexpected. They could have done other things. I know the Sonic 3 movie is coming out with Shadow and whatnot, but and this is a tie-in, well, not necessarily canon tie-in, but it goes hand in hand. But I wouldn't necessarily say that this game had the most recognition and was so widely spreadly talked about before they announced dropping Sonic and Shadow Generations. And so a lot of companies are starting to realize, like, hey, people are wanting things from the 2016, 2017, 2018, 2015 era. People are constantly saying, hey, I miss this, I miss that, I miss this, I miss when things were like this, I miss things when they were like that. So why not take those things and implement them now? So a lot of people are still reminiscing on these old times, and one, for me personally, like, I get it, I'm nostalgic, I have nostalgia for things too. I wish things were a certain way as well, but I don't ever harbor on those feelings. A lot of people think 2016 is peak. If you're telling me in the year 2024 2016 is peak, then I pray for you, quite honestly, because I'm not saying 2016 is the peak of my life. No way would I say that. You feel me? I'm peaking at this current day, and I'm only going up. You feel me? So, like, you gotta understand, like, you have to grow up. Like, you have to mature, and things cannot stay the same forever. Like, that is not reality, and that's not the reality we live in, unfortunately. Change needs to happen. You feel me? Like, what you want people to be stuck in an era, in a year, and I don't understand it. You have to continue to move forward. You have to move on in life in order to elevate yourself. So it's kind of like, I get it. I'm nostalgic for 2016, but at the same time, I have to move on from that, and I have to recognize that I'm in the year 2024, and 2024 is a whole different era, and we are in the nostalgia era. You feel me? And all in all, it's okay to be nostalgic to things. I'm definitely not gonna shit on you if you have nostalgia towards pieces of media, personalities, whatever. Because at the end of the day, that doesn't really concern me, and it doesn't affect me. And, so honestly, I just think it's a fun little topic to discuss how we're in the nostalgia era, and all these companies are starting to tug on that nostalgia feeling and realize that people want to have things turn back the way they want it to. So now people are feeling that nostalgia feeling, and then feels like 2016 again for a lot of people. But I would like to ask you guys this question to end off the video. What era are you from? What is the most nostalgic era to you, and why? And I would love to hear your thoughts in the comment section below. But with that all being said and done, is Guap Jerks, aka Jerk, aka MJ, and I will see you guys in another video.